Hey everybody. It's CoKo Plays Wingspan. With coffee, of course. Let's get our standard setup going. I already had a few things to do today, but now I'm taking a little bit of a break. So that's partially why I'm wearing outdoor clothes. A lot of times you'll see me on the stream with like a kind of my black like pajama shirt thing. That's when I'm lounging inside. No time for that today. He says he plays Wingspan in the comfort of his home. Alright, so we got a couple nest types as later round bonuses to consider. We should get at least one of those. The trading benefit is actually kind of useful if I get it really early. Hello there, happy Thursday. Hope it's a relaxing one for you too. Yeah, it should be pretty good for me. At some point later, I gotta take a walk, so like, my body moves a little bit so I don't die and all those things. It's a little bit cooler today too, so I could do it at any time. Normally I wait for it's like closer to night. I like walking at night too, but it's also cooler. We got total cloud coverage today, but yeah, I mean, I'll still be getting sun. It's one of the reasons I like walking when it's not too hot out, because I can like wear clothing that covers most of my skin, so I get that protection too from that big nuclear reactor in the sky. Okay, so yeah, let's do the green heron since it's low food cost. Trading ability is useful, and it participates in later round bonuses. Geography terms in their names, huh? California condor would count as that. Well, I definitely don't look youthful. Evidence of that is a good story. It's from a couple years ago, but it still applies. I was doing some exploring near the university district, which I like going to. Even now I go quite regularly. And I like seeing all the students. It does make me feel youthful. But seeing them definitely reminds me, at least, that like I don't look youthful because they look like babies. And they're like, 22 years old or whatever, 21, 20. So I was exploring that area, and I walked past like a bar, and it looked pretty cool. It wasn't like a nightclub or anything. It was like a regular-ish bar. I think it was like a Friday night, so it was a little bit closer to like a nightclubby thing. And I was like, all right, let's go check it out. And there was a bouncer at the door checking IDs, so I was like, okay, no big deal. And I don't even know if he looked at my ID, but he was like, we're at capacity. And I was like, I didn't say anything, but in my head I was like, oh no. And so I just kind of like moped away. And then the next batch of clearly, students walked in. I didn't feel too bad because, it's a bar near a university, and a lot of young people there, a lot of young women there. And so letting like a 40-year-old guy walk in just seems like asking for trouble. So I don't feel bad that I was like selected to not be allowed. But the fact that it was, so obvious that I'm like much older, that part was, no fun. But that's just life. Okay, let's It probably was. I don't think that place exists anymore either. I was right by it the other day, and it didn't look like it existed. I know, right? Like peaceful music and birds. I can't even drink alcohol anymore, so I got a bunch of non-alcoholic fun stuff that I like drink on streams and whatnot. But yeah, sitting at a bar, like, what value is it to me right now? I mean, I don't mind having non-alcoholic drinks at a bar. It's fun too. But I can't hear anything. There's another bar also in the University District that's a rooftop bar. And it's kind of cool because you get a good view. And I've been there a couple times and I've never been able to hear anything. Like when they're taking my order, when they're bringing my order, when somebody next to me is talking, nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And other people seem to be having normal conversations. And I'm just like, oh my god, I can't even talk. You can go outside though, which is cool to get the view, and it's kind of like more chill out there. So that's still nice. But yeah, it's another one of those humbling moments. Okay. Tell more stories over time. I gotta space out my stories. That's my big learning for streaming. Is I gotta like make progress in the game and space out my stories so that I'm not just sitting there doing nothing but talking for 10 minutes.
Green heron. Green herons drop insects and other objects onto the water to attract fish. Dark-eyed junco. Juncos summer in the cool woods, but will use more open habitats in the winter.
Why can't that be a description of me? Summer in the cool woods. I don't think it matters this early, but I don't need any eggs in that nest type or in the forest. So, just because you can't predict the future, I like putting my eggs in things that eventually I might need, but I'm guaranteed to use these 2 eggs before I get there. Alright, let's grab another grub. Okay, so I want to get 2 eggs, 2 cards, so that I can use the ability of my other bird and tuck a card to get a wheat. So I'm basically trading a victory point, which is an egg, for a victory point, which is a tucked card, but in the process getting food out of it. So it's a worthwhile trade. And it doesn't matter all that much which food I get because I have this trading ability. So let's grab the bald eagle. And a random thing. Alright, not the right kind of bird power, but it works. Actually, it's a nest type that I need. Okay, so let's keep 1 grub and let's trade the other for a mouse, which I could have gotten last time. Let's actually check what's in the feeder. There aren't any fish in there now, so let's grab a fish instead. Now there's fish in there. Funny how that works. But I can't grab the mouse by grabbing food. But I could get anything and then trade it. Alright. That could work. So let's just grab whatever. Let's grab a berry. And then we'll tuck a card. Alright, let's tuck the purple martin and get a wheat. And get some more cards. Ooh, maybe we don't need to. Nice. I like that wood duck in there. How much duck would a wood duck duck if a wood duck could duck wood?
Bald eagle. Bald eagles steal fish. Ben Franklin thought this was a bad choice for the U.S. national bird.
I think Ben Franklin was right. I mean, bald eagles, you know, they do look cool. They're fish-eating scavengers. Not exactly, I don't know, noble? Okay, let's grab the wood duck and a surprise card. And if we want to play the wood duck... Oh, I don't have any eggs to play it on my next turn. That's okay. We need another wheat. So let's get rid of our fish. There we go. I wish there had been more fish in the bird feeder when I played my bald eagle, but so it goes. I might lay down this bird just because I have it. Or I tuck it. Now let's lay eggs so that I can play the other bird. Yeah, I kind of figured somebody would get two birds in the forest. Okay, let's grab these two cards. The red-bellied woodpecker and the Mississippi kite. Now, I wish I had grabbed food beforehand so I could actually do a useful trade, but I didn't. But we could use this to adjust the order in which we're going to play these things. So... if we prioritize the birds in the grasslands, then we need wheat grub and then another grub. So we could trade one of the wheat for a grub, and then we'll have to get more food, of course. But this way we can play both of these birds before we lay eggs again. Ah, now we got a bird here that matches our bonus thing too. Wait, no, never mind. It's not actually a bird with that power. It's a bird with a regular, or like a different activation bonus that allows you to repeat a predatory bird power, or whatever that sign icon is for. So we don't need that bird.
Baird Sparrow. Spencer Baird was the first curator of the Smithsonian.
That must be a nice job. Okay, let's grab the grub so we, the mouse so we can keep the grub. Nice, and we got another grub. Good times. When you have the trading ability, you can make the use out of all those freebies that you get from other people's bird bonuses.
Mississippi kite. These birds mostly eat large insects, but they'll also eat rodents, bats, and birds.
Yeah, they will.
Red-bellied woodpecker. These birds' tongues reach out 2 inches for insects, but seeds are half their diet.
Alright, now we need eggs. The Canada goose could actually be useful when I have the trading ability, because I can use the trading ability to always make sure I have a wheat to tuck. I don't know actually, but I'll take it. I don't have any really trading that I want to do now. Just depends on which bird I want to play next. Can't do this one now anyway. Might do the wood duck next. One sec here, gotta reply to a message. Oh, sorry, I hit my microphone. Okay, let's get some stuff. Let's grab a cherry and a fish which we can turn into something later. It's a shame that there was no wheat. But we'll tuck the Canada goose in There we go. So now we can play 2 more birds.
Wood duck. Wood ducks nest in tree cavities in wooded areas. Tree swallow. Tree swallows can form flocks numbering in the hundreds of thousands.
Alright, let's grab this one, whatever else comes here. I might want a 3rd card because of my tucking abilities. What is this? Okay, so that's tuck and draw, so that works. Alright. I'm probably gonna need another card, another thing to tuck. Okay. So now tuck one of these, tuck the lazuli bunting. Alright, now we have to think ahead with our trading. Are we going to play all these? We probably won't play the sandpiper. So we need grub and then grub and wheat. So we'll get the wheat now with the fish, and then whatever else we grab can be our wild card. But if we want to try and get this round bonus, we gotta lay eggs. Unfortunately, I don't have one more food to play this before I lay eggs. It wouldn't matter anyway, because I wouldn't have food to trade. Though I would get this benefit. So what if I got food? Okay, let's grab a grub and a wheat. And then... Nice, we're gonna get another one. Take that one. Alright, so now the question is, do we cash it or keep it? It would be a 3rd one. Let's take it. And, oh wait, we get another one from tucking too. Darn.
Bush tit. Bush tits live in flocks, and single adults will help
bush
couples
tit.
raise their young.
Not bush tit. Bush tit. And the other one, like lazuli bunting, like lapis lazuli, but it's not that. It's lazuli, I think. Okay, let's trade a wheat for some extra eggs. We are not really going to have as many eggs as we should, given how many birds we have of that nest type. But let's put them all on the starbird, so that it double counts. It's kind of a shame that I got so many birds of the right nest type, but, you know, wasn't conscientious about laying the eggs to get the round bonus. I still won because the AI is weird about prioritizing round bonuses. Sometimes it goes overboard and like there's no stopping it. And then other times it doesn't even try. So I got lucky. Although you can do it in the video game, one of the advantages of playing the board game around a table, the tabletop version, is that you can, like, at a glance, look at everybody else's board and see how many birds they have of different nest types and how many eggs they could potentially lay or have laid. You can do that in the video game, but it requires like 4 or 5 clicks. I don't got that kind of time. Alright, so we probably don't want to be laying any more birds. Unless they're going to be here, so... yeah, let's just do this. Let's just lay this bird down. Don't have any extra cards to tuck, though. Unfortunately.
Red-headed woodpecker. These woodpeckers store nuts, seeds, and insects in wood or under bark.
Maybe it would be good if I had some cards. So if I use an egg, I'll get it back, but with a tuck benefit. So I think it's worth it. Oh, but there's a tuck here. Oh, for tuck and draw. Okay. See, my logic was sound, but I only had 2 open egg slots, so I can't tuck the 3rd card. Sometimes. I also don't have that many slots on that nest type. Ooh. I really did not think ahead. Yikes. If I had just, like, been paying a little bit of attention, I could have put myself in a position to play this bird card. But I did not pay attention. Well, that was dumb. I can still play it next turn by, you know, using 2 of each food type. Let's cash it. Let's tuck a bird.
Ferruginous hawk. These rust-colored birds sometimes hunt in groups in prairie dog towns.
Alright, we got the round bonus anyway. I shouldn't say anyway. I actually did load up a lot of eggs in that nest type. I just didn't have as many birds of that nest type as I suspected. Holy crap. That was a lot of bonus points. Alright, still got second. That's not terrible for... I mean, getting second with a score of 78 is pretty good. Like, you gotta at least get in, you know, 85-ish to really contend with winning. So that's all fair and dandy. Fair and dandy. That's a good one. Alright, maybe we should switch it up to Townscaper. Ah, those sound effects. There we go. I've got a Townscaper scene collection in OBS to move the camera to a spot that's out of the way. Looking good, town, looking good. Kind of want a screenshot of it, of like this angle. Zoom in a little bit. It doesn't quite fit in to the field of view. Actually, I could do this. All right, that works. That's a pretty good screenshot. All right, just checking notifications. All right, we're good. Okay, so I think probably work on this other neighborhood maybe. Yeah. All right, so if we work from here, we can create. I don't know if I want a connection so soon, though. Maybe what I'd want is like a building, and then like the neighborhood can connect with some space. So if I think of it like concentric circles, I could do that, but that's not really the design route I want to go. Like the spacing doesn't have to be even. Like there can be a gap between neighborhoods here, but that doesn't necessitate that there's a gap between these buildings and absolutely everything around it. Like for example, I could start building here and connect these two. It wouldn't be a huge deal. But I do think I want to leave a gap between these buildings and whatever I do over here. So maybe like I build some stuff here and then create like a connector down here somewhere, leaving a little bit of space. Maybe, so I know I planned for this to continue into something, but that's way down there. So I probably wanted a connector here too. Yeah, that's a good spot for a connector. So if I build stuff like here-ish, then I can create a connector here that comes. That's not bad. That should work. So I have a lot of freedom to build here. So I can change up this square. I think I will. Because I do like that star shape though. Maybe that could become a building. Kind of like this was here. I don't want it to be white though. Cool. I like the way that's starting. So what type of building do I want? Maybe I actually follow that design. Maybe I make it, what is this, like an octagon? A dodecagon? Dodecahedron? All right. This is a neat idea, actually. Actually, it works out if I don't build into the path here. It would look so cool if I did. Maybe I could do it on the second level. Let's see what that looks like real quick. It's not bad. Maybe I could like do an alternating levels thing. So up, down, up. Down, up, down. Why does this thing have... curious. Why does this one have a roof? And these don't. Huh. I don't know. God, that's such a cool looking building. But that's just a start. I'm going to keep working on it. It could be pyramidal. That's kind of cool too. I don't know what. I mean, it's so impractical, like, but it's cool looking. Okay, this one definitely can't keep going unless we move the entire area out one, but then we might lose our star shape. We probably would. I think let's stick with what we got, because I'm not going to keep this anyway. Like, I don't... As clever as this concept is, it doesn't really create a building that, like, resembles something that people would utilize. Like, this is nonsense. So I need to adjust some things here. I like the pyramid concept though. Maybe we just do it clean to start with, and then we'll reconsider. Except for that one. That one's special. All right. All right, so this is a neat idea, but I also got to consider how the path is going to continue around here, because eventually we want it to connect to this by virtue of something. So let's take a look. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, so what if it goes all the way around? I kind of want to make it bigger though, but let's just start with the path. Okay. It's already very cool looking. So all sides can't be longer, which is fine. I kind of want a little bit of asymmetry into it in a couple dimensions, in length, and like the up-down system I was doing before. I'll recreate something along those lines. let's start by making the sides longer that can be longer. And we'll fix the path later. Let's make this edge obscenely long. Ending in something like that. Yeah, that's dope. All right, we can do the same to the other two edges. See if they kind of end in a natural, like, weird shape like that that the grid system creates for us. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool way to do it. And the reason being, like, once the base grid creates something like this, then really you can't continue without either turning the building or combining multiple edges. And I don't want to do either of those things. I like it going straight out. Even though that's not totally straight, it's still fine. So let's see how far... This one looks like it's like more on the square grid. So it could go for a while before it encounters... Let's just see how long it goes for before it encounters a weird grid. It might go forever. It's on a nice square path. Wild. This feels like it'll be a museum building, actually. And these could be wings of the museum. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, what if I connected them too? Either like on the second level or something? Cool. Okay, let's just leave this here, but it, you know, conceptually it could go out as long as I wanted it to. Well, let's see how long this one goes before it gets strange. This one's not going to be long at all. Unless I wanted to, like, make it curve or something, but I think I won't, because I'll put other buildings over here. So it's fine. Yeah, that looks really cool. That's a really great shape. Okay, next step I think is for me to consider the path again. You walk around here, and I could make the path continue around this edge. I don't really like that though. I'd like to, like, maybe leave a gap. All right, let's take a look here. What if I did something like this and left a gap so you can walk underneath? For now, let's keep this closed off. And then on the other side, the path continued. Yeah, I like this. Okay, we'll keep that. Now, I like this idea of being able to walk around the outside of the building underneath it. Maybe I keep that concept. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it works nicely. Sweet. So what else could I do with these paths? If we think of this as a museum, then it could have some outdoor spaces for display. So I could make like little squares here or something. Let's see how it changes the feel of the shape, though. It's a little less pronounced, but still fine. I think I like this. Okay, not that side though, for now. All right, cool. This is decent. We might adjust the path further, but for now, that's good. All right, now how tall do we want this to be? I think the way I've started going, I might need it to be very tall. All right, now that I got these, all right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's try this. Could this be a thing? I don't really like the way it looks. I think what I should think about, if this is a museum, in addition to long wings, we need some bigger rooms that we can maybe create up in the middle here somehow. I do kind of like this. I'm going to keep it for now just to motivate my thoughts. Now, I'm going for uniform color in this neighborhood. This would be a building, though, where I would, consider changing that, but it's a good color as it is, and I like the theme of the neighborhood, so let's go with it. Maybe we could make like the roof a different color. Okay, so let's try and create some square rooms by expanding how far this comes down after the arch first. So right now it goes to the path. In those directions at least. This one, we actually could make it go like one more further. This could be like the entrance. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it with the door, though, on the end. As if this is like a main entrance. I don't think I'm going to make it totally pyramidal, but, we'll do it that way to start with to keep the layers distinct. So for example, if I do something like this, oh, now it's starting to look Byzantine. Yeah, this is very, you know, Byzantine domes upon domes kind of look. That's not really the look I was going for. Not that I dislike it. Yeah, starting off with like the like dodecahedron kind of shape, which I think was like the same type of shape that this tall tower is. Actually, this one's not exactly. It doesn't have as many sides. So the grid gave me a very unusual thing to start with, and then I ran with it. So like the snowflake thing. And so I've got the idea of it being a museum with these long wings, and I want to try and create maybe some larger display rooms in the middle and maybe some connectors between the wings, while still keeping the two primary influences here, which is like the snowflake type of shape and the layered and long limb, like almost like amoeba thing going. So I want to adjust this a bit. I don't like a few, like I want connectors between the wings, but I don't really like the way this looks. I'll have to work on that. And I like this like dome upon dome look, but I want to try and create these like square rooms up here like this. So let's see what we can do. And this here will be like the entrance to the museum. So maybe up here on level 3, let's see if we can create a big square room. Oh, neat. This could actually work out in our favor. Yeah, so we've by extending this all the way up, we've recreated the basic shape of the original tile, but extended it a few tiles. And that creates a big open space in the middle, which is what I was looking for. And it still works with a path because we've got room to walk through. And because of this gap, we've got this little balcony, which I like. I might actually try and create more balconies now that I got my square room. We'll see. We'll see. This needs to be taller too, though, so we can make it a few more layers. All right, let's actually make it a few more layers tall, and then we'll do some stuff around it. So let's just click a bunch. Ooh, an inner courtyard to the star on the very top. That's kind of cool. How do I want this to be? How do I want this to be? So inner courtyard like this, up high, would be like a very isolating thing. So, you know, if this is a museum, there could be some work up here that you admire in the sun, isolated from all of civilization, because you're tucked away up here and nobody can see you, you can't see anybody. So that could be a nice use of this space. On the flip side, if we do it like this, we've got a space to look out. But because I've got a lot of buildings that have like rooftop views, let's make this one different. I still might make the building taller though. Maybe not. Maybe we'll go one more level. And now the question is this too deep? Could be. Nah, one deep is fine. I got ideas. Nah, I don't really like this. I liked it better when it was enclosed. But that doesn't preclude no, I don't really like this either. Okay, let's come up with something though. Maybe what we got here is alternating... There's something about this idea I kind of like. But it's not connected, first of all. I guess that first story is never connected. Right. Yeah, it was never connected. So that's just the way it's going to be on the first story, the ground floor. I apologize for any background noise. There's some people doing some work outside. So you'll just hear some mumbling. In addition to my own. Alright, there's something about this that I like and something that I don't like. But what I want to do before I correct it is to create like the connections between the wings. So let's follow this pattern a bit. Let's follow this pattern everywhere and see what we can do with it. That's actually kind of cool. Oh my god, this building is absolutely massive. It's dominating this town. Dominating. Alright, let's use this one since we got it. Alright, let's... This might have been cool if each of the wings was a different color. I don't know if I care enough to like try and put that in now. Okay, but let's consider this connector between the wings. How do I want to do it? I kind of want it to only be like one floor. Like the third floor or something. What would that look like as far as... Hmm. I like these little arches, actually. I just don't really like, yeah, I don't really like the way this looks. It detracts from, like, jellyfish or starfish look of this thing. I'm just going to test out what this might look like if I used a different color. Yeah, it would look cool. Alright, let's see what other colors might work nicely. One of them could be white, I guess. And then white, after white, we can do that green. Nice. And then the entrance should be, maybe the entrance should be white, but this white building next to it cuts off the uniqueness of that look. Maybe orange. Is that orange? Kind of. Because the base building is pink, which is kind of close to this red, maybe the entrance will be that color. Is it this one or... So it's this one that the building is. It's closer to purple than pink. So potentially, how would this look next to it? Not bad. I still like this crimson-y color. Oh, that's red. What's this color then? Oh, right. That's the purple I'm using. The pinkish purple. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we could use orange over here. Cool. Alright, those are some good colors. Just the red color? Nope. I need a better way to do this. I think row by row. Okay, before we go further, something that I can do to cut down on the mass of this building is to not make the wings that many stories. It looks much more like a city building. This looks like a Flatiron building. So I think what I could do instead is something more like this, where I got a pyramidal shape again. Let's see. What if this went all the way to the roof? Maybe? Nah. I like the distinction of leaving the roof alone. So let's say I did it a literal kind of stepwise pyramid. You know what? I like that a lot. I could potentially do something like that too. Yeah, this looks really cool. Okay, let's do that. You're orange, right? Oops. Do I have enough room in all of these to do that? Let's see. Alright, so I gotta use the right color on this. This was white. Maybe I should make it off-white. I kind of like that color, actually. This little balcony at the end could be a nice idea, too. Let's just keep it consistent for now. Yeah, this cuts down on like the visual mass of the building substantially. And also keeps it center heavy, which is appropriate. I could create little balconies too, I think. Let's try that next. Alright, which green is this? Not that one. The darker green? Yeah. Okay, so we know we're going to fill in all this spot. This one I don't think will end in a balcony. Because this doesn't really work as a balcony. It kind of works, and there's a path. I don't know, actually. Let's keep it open for now. What if we try something? Nope. Okay, now, if I wanted to make little balconies up here, I'd have to pick the right color. Oh yeah, it doesn't work unless it's like, has a width to it. Like if I did something like that. How about something like this? How does this look? It's kind of cool. I like the idea of each of these wings having like a larger space to start with. Maybe it should be one floor lower. It's kind of cool. I don't hate it. I don't know if I like it though. Maybe they don't all need to be like this. I don't like it when the roof goes all the way up top. Okay, so something like this. That's kind of cool. And the other one that would match that would then be green. if I wanted to alternate. Or I could do the two that extend out into no man's land. I don't know. Was it this color? Slightly different color. This one. Okay, well, let's see what this looks like if I do it right next to it. Yeah, it's not a bad look. It's just different. So the question is, which one do I prefer? Do I prefer this like highly, I don't know, layered and precise, I guess, plan? Or this one where it's a bit more strategic, like, because this room, this larger room would have utility. Whereas these, from the outside, they look cool, but from the inside, like, it'd almost be a nightmare, because this would be a tiny extension off of the larger interior space. And then you can't go further. Likewise, just extend, like, these are increasingly smaller wings. To the point where you don't really have any long wings because there's a gap on the first floor. So the first proper wing would start the second floor, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not bad. Like 4 tiles of a wing gives you enough to walk down and see some art. But that's the only one. Then it's like 3, then 2, then 1. Whereas something like this, you still have the 4 for the second floor, but then you also have some more space on the floors above, where there could be like a centralized, like this could be, like, I don't know, like, ancient Mediterranean art. And there'd be like a centralized space for those things. I'm not sold on these little balconies either. Like, I kind of like the idea more of having a little spot at the end that you can look out. This little rooftop one, though, I'm not so sold on. Let's see if we can play with this shape a little more. Really, it's the second floor we'd want to make longer. If we wanted there to be more room in the wings. But that's increasing, like, the look of mass of the building again. Yeah, if you're far away, this look just registers more cleanly than this mess. But before I delete it, let's use one of the other wings here to try another concept. And we'll deal with that in a second. These gaps are bothering me. Why did I leave them? Because of this side? I mean, we can keep the gaps on one side. That's okay. Oh, because of the pathway on all sides. Maybe I need to reconsider the path idea, because I got two problems here. I got one, the fact that these wings, you can't go from the central building. I mean, you can walk a little bit outside. Even if it's raining, you got coverage. Just feels nicer if there's continuity between the center and the wings. And that would be fine. I just have to adjust the path. So you walk up here, you go into there. If I remove the path entirely around it, then basically once you're in the building, you stay in the building unless you get to these little balconies, or you continue this way. If I want a path around this side, maybe I just do it before, like from here. Let's try it real quick. Let's say there's another bit of path here. Yeah, I don't like it as much because of how close these are together. The other thing I should consider is I don't think the city will stop here. So if we think of this as the only entrance, I really wouldn't want you to be required to go inside through a building to connect between two neighborhoods. It would be nice if a path walked along it, like along the side of this. So conceivably, like these could all come with like paths around them that act as bridges to neighborhoods eventually. You know what? I think I got a solution. I do. I do have a solution. We can remove this one and have it come this way. And this could be like a little square. So the path follows, we'll say it goes all around all of the wings, so you can walk around them to take you to different neighborhoods. And then how do they make their connection? Oops. Let's stick with the green color. So the idea there was a balcony, but with a path, there's no such thing as a balcony anymore, which is good. I didn't really like that much anyway. So initially I had this shape. Which I like. And now let's see if we can create a connection that we want here. Something like this might work. So we changed the nature of that whole entrance concept, but I'm not opposed to it. So let's see what we got. We can even make this a little bit wider. These buildings here. Now with this in place, we can fill this in, which is what I wanted. Now potentially this green one could be the main entrance, because it's got a little bit of a larger side here. Potentially. If that's the case, then we could do something like that. And this could be like a small wing for displaying like some of the auxiliary stuff, like you know, donators, administrative information, that kind of stuff. We can also keep with the theme too. Yep, and just like always, this view, the nice view that these people had is gone. Suckers. Well, you pay the risk when you buy something in a new area early. You don't know what's going to come around. I also don't like this gap at the bottom here. I don't know why I did that. What's the color? This one? Yeah, much better. I did it for the path, but we can solve that. We could solve it here too. We can make this a little better. So what is it like on the other edges? It's just together all the way down? Is it? I guess it is. Okay, this is getting better. All we need to do is create these little wider areas, and then pathways restored, because we're going to build pathways all around each edge. So we can have these little squares. We'll feel that out. Oh, wrong color. Something like this. Yeah, I like this so much better. I like the fact that the first floor connects. That makes it feel like an actual museum. And the fact that the upper rows aren't as long reduces the mass of the building. Even though it's gigantic, like this star shape that's tall and filled in all the way except for the very top floor, it's a thick building. It's probably the largest square footage anywhere in this city by a wide margin. Like even more square footage than some of these newer, larger buildings. But because of the star nature of it, it doesn't feel as massive. And it almost like visually, it's pulling your eye away from the center. So I dig this. I think this works as like a eyepiece, and also as a kind of like thinking through how people might navigate it if it were a real museum. Okay, is there anything else I wanted to try about it before I go just finish up the pathing stuff? I did want to maybe play with the idea that there's more utility to the wings. And I think I could do that by maybe making these 2-step increments instead of 1. That does change the look dramatically. Another way might be to... Nah, this is okay. Because as long as the first floor has like the bulk of the wing stuff, the second floor is exactly the same. Well, the first floor is really long in some cases. But the second floor for everyone is, except for the red one, is exactly 4. And that's a good amount. And then each floor is a little less. Top floor only has a little. It's not so bad. Okay, cool. I think I'm good with the way it is. Now let's just do the path around it. Okay, very cool. Now, these outside areas can still be, like, have public art. That's like an extension of the museum. What I kind of want to do is see if I can get the point of this square to line up with the edge of the building. That would look nice. But maybe one shallower. Like that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that looks great. And I think this matches that one. I think one shallower would be too small here. Yeah. That looks good. And then this, let's see if we can fix it. Yeah, that looks good. Well, this could be smaller. So now that we've built this, let's see. Where would we want to build another larger building here? Something like this. Would I want something right here? I mean, maybe. There's no reason to count it out. So let's leave this as it is right now, and then we'll adjust it later depending on what we make there. On these other sides, though, I don't think we'll deal with building anything there until much, much later. All right, let's look at this interior space. So we got a larger courtyard. I know I tried before and I didn't really like the look of like a wider bridge, but I think this might be good. It is. I think any thicker won't work. Let me take a look. Yeah, I still kind of like it. What if it's one more? I want to see like where. Yeah, that kind of looks too fat. Yeah, even this. But I got this to deal with. from before, so maybe we cut this down. Yeah, that looks really good because of the size of this square. I could bring it back, maybe? I don't really like that anymore. So this kind of preserves the idea of the edge of the building having a corresponding edge out here. I'm not doing it right though, because it's a square edge. So I gotta do something like that. And then since we don't need both of these, but could do something like that. Nah. Like that looks pretty good. Yeah, sometimes when you have something like a museum, it's really nice to have an open area at its entrance. And for a variety of reasons. Like one is logistics, like crowd control. You know, people before and after they enter a museum want a place to like gather, look at a map, talk about stuff, eat. You know, if the line gets so long, you know, you can wait in the courtyard. So that's something I want to think about. But also, you know, take pictures from the outside. That's a big thing. So there's something appealing about having like a big square leading into the museum too. You know, more space for more public art to kind of gradually introduce you into the concepts of the museum. So putting some more space here feels right. You know, it's near the entrance. It's also adjacent to larger open water area for nice views. You got the city behind you, or like more like the housing behind you, so you get some pictures with that in the background, which looks really good. So I kind of want to create this square again, even though this looks really nice and kind of geometric, especially from above. Like, look how gorgeous that looks. I kind of want to take a screenshot, actually. Let's do that. It's just so hard to sacrifice that look. Alright, I'll leave it without the courtyard for now. But I think adding one at some point could happen. Could even be here. Didn't necessarily need to be where it was before. Could certainly be over here. Like instead of like a bridge, this could be like just a big open area with water around it. Something to consider. And then there's potential for each of these wings to lead to another neighborhood. There's something satisfying about that. It kind of makes it like that the heart of this city, this town, would be its museum, which is nice because museums are awesome. But maybe not all sides. These two kind of end in like these points, so maybe this one could go to a neighborhood, and this one does go to a neighborhood, and then just kind of like this or closeness proximity here that continues to this neighborhood. So probably this one, which could connect back there and over here somewhere. This all looks like it'll work nicely. All right. Now there's more I could do, but I think I've come to the end. Now that I'm here, you know, there's a whole wing that I'm missing because I started this building so close to other stuff. But if I had thought about it ahead of time, what if I had hunted for like this type of tile like this? Was this it? See, they're all subtle variations. They're not exactly uniform, which I think is the magic of it. You don't get a pure grid system to work with. But if I hunted enough, I could probably find a tile that's close to this shape, this star shape, and put it outside far enough that each of the wings could expand. I'm definitely not going to undo this though, because I love the way it looks, and there's something about the fact that it's not symmetric, right? That not each wing is not exactly the same length, that one of the wings is even missing. That kind of looks cool. So I have no incentive to like undo this and redo it somewhere else where it could be like perfect, so to speak. But if I were to do another building like this somewhere else, maybe not entirely like this, but like starting with the same basic concept of a star shape that goes out and becomes something in each direction, that would be a cool thing to think about. But I love this. I think it's definitely huge. Like your eye is drawn to it immediately, no matter where you're looking. And it might dominate the city now because of how big it is relative to all the other individual colored structures. But once there's stuff all around it that look more like this older neighborhood, a little more hodgepodge, then it will still stand out, but it won't dominate as much. And around it, we got some other buildings that are not quite as massive, but are uniform in shape, so they can kind of hold their weight next to it, which has actually worked out perfectly. So I'll do a few more of those on all sides, and then I'll get back to hodgepodge neighborhoods, because you need more than just one of those to make it feel like a real lived-in old town. So that's the plan. That's the plan of record. Let's take one more screenshot from like this angle. Nice. like another screenshot here. Cool. Alright, we'll continue this some other time. This has been fun. See y'all next time.